We're live. Hello and welcome to St Vincent's live Q&A session. We are joined by a panel of experts from across the college who are going to answer any questions that you may have. So let's get started and hand straight over to our panel who are going to introduce themselves.
Hello, my name's Cara Murray-Gow and I'm the Mental Health and Wellbeing Coordinator.
Hello everybody, my name's Daniel Mann and I'm the Head of School for the School of Sixth Form Studies.
Hello, my name's Jan Frost and I'm Vice Principal here at St Vincent.
Hello, my name's Alistair Lambourne and I'm the Transition and Progression Manager here at the college.
Hi, my name's Sarah Hounsell and I'm Head of School for Enhanced Curriculum and Welfare.
Hi, and I'm Carleen Reid. I'm the Head of School for Adult and Higher Education.
Brilliant. And so now we've met our panel, we're going to jump straight in with our first question. So, how many days do I have to go into college for?
That's a great question. It really depends on the timetable or the courses that are chosen by the individual. The college works on a Monday to Friday, but the majority of our students across the School of Sixth Form are actually in for 3, possibly 4 days. And students that are on our level 1 provision are condensed into a 3/4 day timetable as well.
I'm worried about coronavirus. What measures do you have in place?
Well, the first thing to say is that we're really fortunate here at St Vincent in that we haven't had a single case of coronavirus confirmed. So we're really pleased about that. It's a lovely, big, spacious campus. And again, that allows us to ensure that we have social distancing in place, and during breaks and lunchtime, there's plenty of space to move around the campus outside and keep yourself safe. We've also got smaller class sizes than average. You're probably used to class sizes of 30 or more in schools. Our average class size here is about 13. It does vary a little bit across different subject areas, but typically you'll be in a much smaller group than you're used to. And that means that we can space students out in many of our classes as well. We do ask all students to wear face coverings in public areas, but not during lessons. And that really, I think, helps with communication and with kind of group bonding between teachers and students. And we recognise that's really important. One thing that we do is we insist on having seating plans for all classrooms, which means that should there be someone who tests positive, then we are able to isolate and track and trace the students who are sitting around them. So again, that allows you to have some kind of peace about being safe during your time at college. And of course, all of those kind of elements that the government encourage around hand washing and face mask wearing and social distancing and so on, we observe all of those, and we do remind you to keep those in mind during your time at college.
I have anxiety and depression. Will I get support at the college?
Hello, yes. We have a very strong support team here, and also we have the ethos of a whole college approach to mental health. That means all our teachers, progress tutors and support staff are all there to support you. So please don't worry. The most important thing is that you communicate it. So do get in contact or talk to your personal tutors when you're here, and they'll help you either they talk to you or they come bring you to see me, so then I can sort of work with you too and identify really what help you do need and refer you either to ELSAs or any support that's there. So basically what I'm trying to say is that you're going to be supported here, so please don't worry and just communicate it.
Do I have to wear a uniform?
No. As a sixth form college, we actually want to encourage you to be young adults and be individuals. So as long as you are appropriately dressed for college life, no big slogans across t-shirts, you are free to wear whatever types of clothes you actually choose. There are some courses where there are specific items that need to be worn, some personal protective footwear, or possibly a uniform for some of our sports qualifications as well. But the choice of what you wear is entirely up to you.
Is there any financial help?
Hi. Financial help is dependent on your family's income. So were you to enrol with the college, we would look at the income of your household, and that would be assessed on an individual basis. I hope that's helpful.
Do you have to pay for any courses?
It all depends on what course you study, really. So if you're an adult education student, then there are courses that are fully funded and there are courses that you do have to pay for. Courses that you pay for generally will be provided by the advanced learner loan, so you can actually take out a loan to pay for your qualification, and then you obviously pay that back kind of when you're in employment following that. Each course has different course fees. Like I said, some are fully funded, so it's just probably best to talk to us about the one that you're interested in doing.
How long will I be studying at college for?
So it could vary. We have courses that are as short as 5 weeks, but for most students who are at college, you'll be running courses that are 2 to 3 years in duration. If you're moving on to advanced level courses, all of those courses are 2 years duration. If you have an educational healthcare plan, it might be that you're at college for as long as up to 6, 7, 8 years. I think the maximum, I think the record is 8 years, but most students are here for 2 to 3 years.
Will I get free school meals?
Once again, this depends on the income of your household. So if when you enrol, or should you enrol here, then we would go through your application, the finances in your household, and dependent on that, reaching a particular threshold would be whether or not you've got a free lunch voucher.
Can you give me some information on the content of A-level English Literature and Language?
So the A-level in Combined Language and Literature is an excellent course for someone who enjoys both creative writing, analysis of literary texts, and also studying linguistics. So how language is used according to who's using it, why they're using it, and what context in which they're using it. And so for this course, there is a small amount of coursework, and there are options within that coursework. You'll study poetry, drama, and novels, so prose fiction, and will prepare you for assessment at the end of 2 years. So 80% of the assessment will come from final exams that you'll sit. You'll sit an exam in kind of 3 different areas at the end of the 2 years. Great for readers.
If I fail my GCSEs, what will happen?
If you were unlucky enough to potentially not get your 5 GCSEs at grade 4 or above, it's not a problem. What we would do is we'd bring you into college during your enrolment time, and we would sit down with, or we'd get you to sit down with a member of our teaching staff or a head of department, and we would discuss what provision or what offer we would be able to put in place for you. So we would look at, if it was your English and maths that you struggled to get that grade 4 in, then we would enable you to resit that in November and then in the summer as well, to give you the best opportunity to get that grade. And we would also look at a vocational course to then run alongside it. So it could be something along a creative arts, a business qualification, a science, if you actually wanted to progress onto the level 3 science, sport, uniform public services or protective services. We've got a huge range of level 2 courses that are going to enable and support you to progress onto level 3. If your GCSEs that you achieve at school are 1s and 2s, then we would actually look at a level 1 program with you. So we would look at potentially kind of investing in you for 3, possibly 4 years. So you could look at the level 1 provision first, then successfully progress onto level 2, and then after that, then progress onto the level 3 as well.
I get extra time at school. Will I still be able to get this?
Yes, absolutely. For most of our students who come with access arrangements at school, we can simply transfer those access arrangements over to college. And so, for example, if a student comes in who, as Dan has just said, hasn't quite achieved their GCSE grade 4 yet, then you would sit a resit in English or Maths as early as November. And for that early resit, we would put in exactly the same exam arrangements that you had at school. However, if you're sitting an exam later in the year, so if you're doing a BTEC, that could be in January. If you're doing an A-level or an AS level, it could be the following summer. We would actually look to reassess you and see again if there are any other additional support needs that we can put in place for you. So we have a lot of students who have 25% extra time, for example, but we also are able to support students who require breaks during exams, who would benefit from a separate room, who would benefit from having a scribe or a reader. So although you have access arrangements in place, that doesn't mean that we can't review those and provide you with additional access arrangements.
I'm anxious about starting college. Can I visit beforehand to talk to somebody?
Yes, please do, and we encourage you to. So please book up for a tour, come in with your parents or guardians. If you want to speak to me or want to talk about mental health or anxiety, then just tell them when you book the tour, and then I'll be pleased to meet you. But yes, don't sit at home and worry. We'd rather you contact us and spoke to us.
How many subjects do I have to take?
Varies a little bit depending on the level of the course that you're doing. If you're an adult course, an adult student, you tend to focus on one particular subject area. However, in the mainstream level 2 and level 3 provision, most students will take 3 courses. So, for example, if you want to do advanced level courses, you could do a single, a double, or a triple qualification. Or some students combine single qualifications across different vocational subjects, sometimes in combination with an A-level as well. So 3 subjects are typical. At level 2, most students will pick up either maths or English, sometimes maths and English, plus a vocational course as well. If you've got maths or English already, so you only need to do one of those, then you would do 2 vocational courses. If you're a student who's interested in construction, then actually you'd focus on multi-trades, and that would be the main area of your programme. But alongside that, you can study English and maths at either functional skills level 1 or at GCSE, which is equivalent to level 2. And then finally, students who have bespoke programmes within our School of Personalised Learning would really have quite a range of courses. So students at level 1, perhaps someone who'd not previously attained any GCSEs above grade 1 or 2, would have the opportunity to have tasters in a range of different vocational subjects. And again, those vocational subjects, things like hospitality, retail, construction occurs there again. You can do that alongside English and maths as well. So there's always a combination, but you're never going to study as broad a range of subjects as you do at school, because we want you to specialise and get on that pathway to success for you, either in higher education or for employment.
What does internal progression mean?
This question relates to levels, and some of my colleagues have already talked about these levels: level 1, level 2, level 3. So dependent on your GCSE results, when you join us at enrolment, we will put you on the most appropriate level. So I think the first thing I'll say is, whatever your GCSE results are, don't worry, we will find the appropriate course programme for you. But let's take, for example, you join us on a level 2. We would very much encourage you to go on to level 3, and that's what we call here internal progression. So last year, over 90% of our students that were eligible to go on to internally progress did. And as wearing my sort of careers hat as a careers advisor, I would fully recommend it.
What are the contents of sociology and psychology?
Okay, so both sociology, which we offer at A-level, and psychology, which we offer at applied BTEC level, both of them are level 3 courses, are really fantastic courses to study if you're interested in people and communities and how we behave and how we interact with each other. So in sociology, if you're interested in kind of politics and social science, if you're interested in kind of child development, if you're interested in people, you know, what is it that causes communities to come together and function really effectively, and what causes communities to break down? If you're interested in that side of things, sociology would be a really good course to do, and it combines really well with things like health and social care. It does combine nicely with psychology, and psychology I would recommend to anybody, because it's really about being a human being, and why we think the way we do, why we behave the way we do, how we develop through kind of our influences in childhood. but also we look at some aspects of really interesting abnormal psychology. So what makes a criminal? What is it about the brain and behaviour that might predict that someone would end up in a kind of criminal circumstances? So I would really recommend both of those courses if you like people.
If I fail maths, can I still do my chosen courses?
That depends on your overall grades that you've achieved for the rest of your qualifications, or whether it's an entry requirement for that subject. So if it was, or if you'd applied for level 3 science, so the level 3 A-level equivalents and the BTECs, and you didn't quite get that GCSE maths, then we would look at asking you to take a level 2 provision first of all, where we would get you to resit that GCSE maths, where you can hopefully achieve that grade 4, that grade 5, or even that grade 6. And we would enable you to do a level 2 GCSE equivalent in science alongside it, and then you would then be able to progress on to level 3 science after it. If it was an alternative subject, maybe a creative arts subject, something within the music department, then that GCSE maths isn't going to be as required for that subject. So you would be able to progress onto that level 3 program and then take your GCSE maths alongside it. So it's very much down to the combination of subjects that you're applying for. But this is something that we would be able to advise on and sort out and deal with once you have your results after the summer.
What if I can't have my predicted grades by the time I have my interview?
Don't worry, is what I'd say, and come in and chat to us. You can put in your application, you'll be called for an interview, and we will take that into account. The interview is really more of a guidance session to find out what your interests are, what you'd like to study with us, and then we'd make the appropriate offer to you. When you come for enrolment, by then obviously you would have had your GCSE results, and as I said earlier on, we would then put you on the most appropriate programme. But don't let that delay your application to us. Do make the application and we can talk to you.
Can I take more than one BTEC?
It depends on the subject combinations that you're thinking of taking. So you may be looking at something that we would refer to as a triple. So a triple qualification is the equivalent of 3 A-levels, and this would be a large BTEC qualification that would take up 3 columns of your teaching, which would be your full timetable. That could be something like health and social care, uniform protective services, or sport, and that would be deemed as a triple, and we would not advise you to take anything else with that subject. However, if you want something a little bit more flexible on a learning program and you want to have some options and some choices, then you would be able to take a combination of single or double-based qualifications. Things along these lines could be a single health and social care that you could then have and study alongside single law or applied psychology, applied human biology, and those combinations will be able to allow you to kind of fit multiple BTECs together. So again, it really comes down to what you wish to apply for and study, and we'll be able to advise at an interview what's the best way to go.
How do you use technology in the classroom?
So we've worked really hard over the last 2 years to develop our digital learning, and we've become really quite highly skilled in using online platforms. So for example, over the last year, we've been moving away from a Moodle platform and a college intranet to using Google Classroom. So if Google Classroom is something that you're familiar with from school, then you will be able to extend your understanding and learning of that here. If you're new to it, then it is really very accessible, and your teachers will train you on how to use that. Another thing that we've moved towards this year is using iPads in the classroom. And so for our level 3 year 1 learners, we're using iPads as our kind of primary learning tool. And so we would encourage students to use a device in the classroom, and that will enable you not only to kind of receive learning information and get resources, but also to submit work, to share work with students, to collaborate on assessments. We really are moving ahead, and I think that kind of one of the kind of upsides really of COVID and lockdown has meant that we've been forced to accelerate our progress with digital learning, and we really are seeing that we're reaping the benefits of that currently.
How can I apply?
Really simple. If you're already watching this, you're already on the St Vincent College website. Just look for the Apply Now button, and you can fill in an electronic application form. However, if you've got access to one of our physical prospectuses, then you are more than welcome to complete it by hand and then just post it through to the college instead.
Is there wheelchair access?
There is wheelchair access to the site at various points. We have wide accessible corridors, we have a lift that means that you can access both floors. And around the grounds there are paths. We have lots of students here with wheelchair users, and they are all able to access all parts of the college. We're currently looking at a path so that people are able to access our garden. But yes, and we have a lift, as I say.
If my son was to join St Vincent College, he has an EHCP plan, but unsure he achieves his English GCSE, would he be able to start on a level 3 course? Should he achieve the rest of his courses?
If a student applies, we look at all applications on an individual basis. However, if a student applies for a level 3 programme, let's say they've applied for art and they will have their GCSE suitable grades for art, but they have an EHCP and they don't get the grade they expected in English, we would still be able to look at them accessing the level 3 programme. We have students who apply with what we call a spiky profile. So they may have all the exam results they wanted in particular subjects, but they are have a lower grade in another. We can still look at that, as I say, as long as they have an EHCP.
Will I have to attend my interview alone?
We want to interview you as a young adult, so you can bring somebody with you, but we would really encourage you to be on that, to interview on your own. We think that it's really important that you're investing in your future, and we want to be able to have that conversation. But if you feel unnerved, or if you feel slightly nervous and you want to bring somebody along with you, that's absolutely fine.
I am over 19 and want to go to university. Are you able to help me reach this goal?
Yes, of course we can. Yeah, we have lots of opportunities for adult students, so anyone over the age of 19 who wants to attend university. And it may be that you need help and support to get the qualifications that you need to get into university. We have a number of access to HE qualifications that we run here at St Vincent College. Very successful programme, and we're also able to offer students the opportunity to sit their maths and English GCSEs or functional skills should they require them and they don't have them already to get onto their university course. So yes, we do indeed help any student who wants to go to university. You just need to really talk to us about kind of what you want to do, what is your next step, what's your career goal, and then we will help you to find the right course that will get you there.
How do you find an apprenticeship?
Well, we will help you. And we have quite a comprehensive careers education programme that allows us to do that. I think one of the highlights of that programme for that question would be our annual apprenticeship employment and volunteering fair that we hold in March. Obviously, in the current circumstances, we may have to do that more than online. But normally we invite employers and universities. Many people don't realise you can actually complete an apprenticeship now at a university. So that gives the students a direct opportunity to market themselves and find out more about it. But if you're sitting there now, and I had to give you a bit of advice, I think a good starting point is the National Apprenticeship website at www.nationalapprenticeships.org.uk. And if you can go on that, you can put in your postcode and actually do a search of all the apprenticeships in your locality.
What if we go into another lockdown?
Okay, so being at fairly low risk, we're seen as medium risk in terms of the government assessment recently. It's unlikely to happen, but should we go into lockdown, we're fully prepared for that. We're currently delivering a full timetable. All of our students are in every day, but as I said earlier on, we're really well set up with our digital learning to be able to deliver learning to you via that platform. And so what we would intend to do is to continue to deliver your full timetable at the times where it's currently scheduled. So you'll have, if for example, you've got, I don't know, English maths on a Monday, you'll still have your English and maths lessons. You will Zoom into that lesson. You will use Google Classroom to access your resources and to interact with your classmates. So you'll still get to keep that kind of community going and your learning going. And of course, you'll still be set work, and that work will be assessed and given feedback to you via the Google platform as well. If you're an adult, you'll use our Moodle platform, and we also support that with email as well. If you're students with higher needs, obviously we would adapt that learning to your needs. And what we really focused on last year, last academic year when we were in lockdown, was supporting students with their kind of mental health and well-being. And so we were contacting students very regularly to support them. So it's not just about your kind of academic education, but we really do our best to kind of take care of the whole person and ensure that you're coping well really in isolation, because if you're not doing that, you're really going to struggle to make progress with your education.
Can I join a sports team if I'm not studying sports?
Of course you can. We've got 2 college teams at the moment. We've got a netball team and a football team. But if you are really passionate about the sport, then you could look at joining the Gosport Borough Academy. But if not, if you're taking 3 science subjects or creative subjects and you wish to join the football or the hockey team, you would just go through tryouts once you've enrolled, and then COVID permitting, you'd then be able to then play in the local leagues.
Will I need to purchase any exercise books?
No, it's unlikely you'll need to buy exercise books. As I referred to earlier on, most of our learning this academic year is happening digitally. So students are submitting work that they've completed on a PC or a device, and that's often being assessed digitally as well. However, what I would encourage students to do, prospective students to do, is to purchase a file to keep your work. We tend to use kind of A4 paper, loose leaf, which we can then submit to staff for assessment. And of course, we're also using lots of other kind of mediums. So for example, in music, they have their own private Facebook group where students record performances as part of their independent learning, submit those, and then receive feedback collectively from the rest of the class. So lots of different platforms, but we definitely move away from exercise books at sixth form level.
Do any courses require a kit?
A couple of our courses require specific clothing. So if you were to study multi-trades or carpentry qualifications, then obviously to keep you safe within that environment, we would encourage you, and it's a necessity for you to purchase steel toe cap boots. If you are on a bursary, then you would be able to charge this against the college and we would then offset the cost for you. However, for other subjects, uniform protected services or the sports teams, there is a departmental uniform that goes with those qualifications. So when you're doing events on and off site, we are clearly identifiable as St Vincent College students, and it's also something that assists with your team building within that subject area as well.
I'm not sure if I want to go to college or find an apprenticeship. How do I choose?
Yes, it's a big decision, and I think with all big decisions, the way to make an informed choice is research, research, research. So talk to people that can help you. I think if you're at school, a good starting point would be your teachers and your careers advisors. But yourself individually can look at those options. There's a wealth of information that your careers advisors can give that you can look at on the internet and by visits, tours, and opportunities to go and look at places that you might want to go on to study in the future. And then, of course, you can actually book a one-to-one careers interview and talk through some of the stuff that you've found out. My advice will be, though, do as much research as you can. If in the unlikely event that you do something and you may think you've made a wrong decision, there's always an opportunity in those early stages to maybe go back and start to look at another option. But research would be my buzzword for anything like that.
I'm a parent. Who do I contact to discuss my son's mental health and medical needs?
Right, so as a mental health lead and coordinator, you'll probably be put through to me. And I really, again, encourage you to contact. We'd really like to know as well if you discuss, so we can make sure that we've got the support in place when your young person joins. So we encourage you to contact the college and encourage you to come in and help us and talk to us. Okay, thank you.
Will I be with the same people throughout my whole course?
Yes, if you're studying a level 3 program, then you all sign up to a 2-year course, and you will then study with that group of people for the entirety of that course. However, as I've mentioned before, if you come in on a level 1 or level 2 program, because you have the choice and options when you progress from level 1 to level 2 or level 2 to level 3, at that point you may change classes, you may change tutor groups as well, because it's very much about your individualized program.
Will I have a tutor?
Yes, all of our students will have a tutor. It's really important that you have someone who takes care of your kind of pastoral side of things, really, and has responsibility for ensuring that you're on track, that you're well supported, that you're attending well, and someone really who can communicate with home. So if you're on a level 2 or 3 course, you will have tutor once a week. We have something called study community. And so that's an opportunity not just to have a one-to-one with your tutor and to receive notices that are going, things that are going on in the college, but it'll also be an opportunity to develop some of our pastoral themes. So for example, Black History Month would be something we would explore. We might do some stuff around kind of safety with you. But also it's an opportunity for you to get started on your independent study. So all of those study communities take place in a room with computer access, so you can get some supported study underway. If you're doing a level 1 program, or if you're a student with high needs and you're in our School of Personalised Learning, then you will have tutor every day. And at level 1, we have tutor at the beginning, at the end of every day as well, just to ensure that students are here, they're on track, they're supported, there aren't any issues. And where there are, it means we can deal with them immediately. So yes, and again, adults as well, any adults on an access programme would also have a tutor. The only people who wouldn't have a tutor would be an adult who's perhaps just picking up a single course for pleasure, leisure, or to achieve another qualification.
Do you think A-level English, Sociology and Psychology is a good combination of subjects?
Definitely, I think that's a brilliant combination of subjects. Again, these are courses for students who are interested in kind of people and how we think and how we behave, and English is very much kind of about kind of humanity really, and understanding and trying to communicate that to others and connecting with others through language. So I think they would work entirely well together. I think, psychology, again, as I talked a little bit before about looking at the human brain and development, and anyone who's interested in writing is probably interested in what makes us tick and why do we think the way that we do. So they'd make a lovely combination.
I want to take sport, psychology and biology. Would that be possible?
Unfortunately, we only offer sport as a triple-based qualification, so this is the equivalent of your 3 A levels. The other two subjects could be taken, but unfortunately, the triple sport does take up the majority of your time, where you would then be encouraged to participate in one of the sports teams as well, or hire sports leaders to go alongside that. So you wouldn't have the time or the space on your timetable to fit in the other 2 subjects.
If I don't pass my maths, will I still be able to do the courses I want to do until I retake my GCSEs?
Almost certainly, yes. What I would encourage you to do, and the same with any other inquiries about specific courses, is to go onto our college website and have a search and look at the courses in the subject areas that you're interested in, and you'll have all the detail of the course content within those. What you'll find is that there are some advanced level courses that do require a maths GCSE alongside them. So for example, if you wanted to do applied biology, applied science, applied psychology, there's a lot of statistical analysis and numerical manipulation required. We would discourage you really from doing those kinds of courses if your maths wasn't yet at a level where you were feeling really confident. But for most courses here, that wouldn't hold you back. And certainly for students on level 1 and 2 programs, you'd have maths as a core part of your program. And if you're doing a level 3 program in either arts or humanities or something creative, it's almost certain that you wouldn't need maths alongside it.
Do I need A levels to go to university?
This is a bit of a yes and a no answer, really. Some courses, the answer is yes, they will stipulate particular A levels that they will require. But there's many courses now at university that don't require A levels, all except an alternative qualification. The obvious one that comes to mind is BTECs, which are now widely accepted. And of course, you know, without a doubt, the Access programme is designed for students to go direct onto university. My advice will be, if you're a bit unsure and you found a course that you might be interested in at university, when you look at the information on the course, look under entry criteria, and that will give you the full range of qualifications they accept for that particular course.
Do you have community courses?
Yes, we do. If you're interested in looking at our community courses that we're running now, then on our website we have within adult education, it's low cost learning, community and creative courses, and there's a list of courses that we have on offer ready to enrol for this term between kind of now and Christmas. But we do offer a number of community courses, so our community courses are available to everybody. They're part of our low cost learning, so the cost for the courses is £3 per hour, and some people may fall into a priority group where they may not need to pay that and may obviously get full fee remission for that course. So it could be that you're interested in picking up a new hobby or a skill, something like guitar, maybe a new language. We have some Italian courses that are going to be starting soon, some Spanish courses that are going to be starting. There could be something creative. We will have some photography-based courses that will be starting after Christmas. And there are lots of different things that you can do throughout the year to develop new skills or hobbies, or just do something that interests you to fill your time.
Is there transport available to mainstream students?
Whilst we don't have a college bus, there are great public transport links to the college, and that's whether you live locally or whether you live further afield. We also have bike racks for parking. A lot of our students come in on a bike. We also have moped and car parking. If you have additional needs, if you have high needs, whether it's a physical or learning disability, then you're able to apply to Hampshire for use of our minibuses. So the School of Personalised Learning have minibuses, and it might be that you're in the School of Personalised Learning or within the mainstream college, but if you have high needs, then you're able to apply to Hampshire, and we would talk you through that on application.
Can I have a part-time job while I study?
Yes, is the short answer. Part-time work is great because you're going to gain those transferable skills, which is going to be good to put onto a CV, great to add to any sort of university application. So we can actually help you look for that. I think the one health warning I would say is that we don't want your part-time job to take over and interrupt your studies. So there is a little bit of balance, but certainly we think it's a good idea.
If I fail my A levels, will I be able to retake them?
I'd need a bit more information really to answer this fully. So if you sat A levels at St Vincent College and you were unsuccessful, then because you had not yet achieved level 3 qualifications and you would probably still be under 19, it would be possible for you to take another level 3 course. What we try to do is to avoid getting to the point where you are likely to fail your A-levels, and very, very few students do fail their A-levels. So one of the things that we do here with A-levels is you'll sit AS exams at the end of your first year, and that will then determine really how well you're coping with that assessment. And if you find that you're struggling at the end of the first year, we could actually transfer you onto alternative programmes. And when students find that they struggle with A-levels, where typically it's 80% external assessment, they might cope better on a course where there's much more internal assessment, such as a vocational course like a BTEC. And so we'd look at really avoiding getting to that point. But if you're under 19, then there would be no restrictions really on you doing courses. But what you couldn't do is just do the same courses again, and we probably would encourage you not to do that. We want you to do something that you're going to be really successful at and is really going to kind of suit your needs. So we'll probably steer you away repeating the same A-levels.
I want to take architecture at university. Do I have to take A-level maths in order to do this?
It depends on the university that you're considering to apply to. Some universities will stipulate that they do want to have an A-level in mathematics. Others will actually encourage you to go in with maybe a science or actually a creative background. So it very much depends where you're applying to and what the considerations are. My best piece of advice would be to go via the UCAS main website, so ucas.com, and you'll be able to then search for all of the architectural degrees in the country, and this will allow you to see the entry requirements for those courses.
If I participate in a sports team, how many days a week would it take up?
If you're studying triple sport and then you're one of our on the sports teams, then the likelihood is that you would actually be in 5 days of the week. This is because of the academic commitment, but also then the training, which does happen in the mornings of Monday and Tuesday at the moment, and then away games or home games actually then take place on a Wednesday afternoon. If you're a cross-college student accessing one of our sports teams, the football or the netball, a similar process would still apply. You would still be expected to attend the training sessions as well as then attend your subjects. It might not be 5 full days of the week, but the likelihood is that you should allocate kind of at least 4.5 days to suitably study and then access the sports provision as well.
Do you offer A-level maths, art, and some form of DT?
Okay, I think that combination of maths, art, and DT sounds like a student who's interested in a career in architecture. I think Dan has partly answered that question already, but what I would say is from next year we won't be offering mathematics. We do offer a range of art and design subjects. You can study fine art, you can study graphics, you can study photography, you can study critical and contextual studies, and within that we look at film and digital media.
Correct.
So we've got a really broad range of art subjects. In terms of design technology, not specifically, so no, but definitely if art is your field, then we have a brilliant art department here.
I would like to study sports psychology at university. Would doing the triple sports course allow this to be possible?
Again, the simple answer to that is yes. My advice, though, would always be to check with each individual university to see if you meet the entry criteria. But we've had students in the past who have recently done those courses, so yeah, that would not be a problem.
Is there a student council?
Yes, absolutely. We've got a thriving student council who this year are going to be known as Student Voice. And they're incredibly active. They're brilliant at kind of fundraising and organising activities that bring students together, but also support local, national and global causes. The Student Council have a really important role here because they're representing you and your peers to the college staff. And so, for example, we would attend student council meetings. We also have representatives of at least 2 student council members on our governing body. And equally, we have a trust quality team. And this year, we will also have student membership on that quality team, where we look at teaching, learning, assessment, and students will kind of feed back from a student perspective what their experience of learning at St Vincent is like, and also make suggestions for change. And we take those suggestions really seriously. So it's a great thing to get involved with.
Is there any area I can practice my religious beliefs?
Yes, there is. We have a faith and contemplation room, but again, I encourage you to talk to the staff maybe at your interview and let them know, just so to ensure that we meet your religious needs. Okay.
Is there a canteen?
I think I've chosen to answer this question because I have a particular interest in food. So we do have a canteen, which is open for kind of late breakfast, right through to the end of lunchtime, and during break in the morning as well, where you can get hot food, sandwiches, drinks, shakes, toasties, all kinds of things, a whole variety of food. But you can also bring your own food in as well, and we've got space for you to eat it. Unlike a lot of colleges, we do have quite a lot of social space, and we allow students to eat in the library. And currently that would be the time where you'd be exempt from wearing a face covering in public areas as well. So yeah, important to be kind of eat nutritious food and be well hydrated, and that will really help with your learning.
Will my interview be at the college or at my school?
At the moment, if you apply to St Vincent's College, we are making every effort that the interviews will take place on the college site. However, if the circumstances change and we do go into a secondary lockdown, then we do have the provision to offer interviews either via Zoom in this way or over the telephone. So whatever happens, if you apply to St Vincent's College, we will be able to suitably interview you and advise on the appropriate courses for you to study here.
Am I allowed off-site while studying at St Vincent?
So yes, really. Students who join sixth form education are approaching adulthood. We give you quite a lot more freedom than you might expect at school. If you are a student with kind of high needs in our School of Personalised Learning, it is more likely that you would stay on site during the college day so that we can ensure that you're safe. But students on level 1, 2, 3 programmes, adult students, are free to come and go around their learning. But again, we would encourage you that for the duration of your kind of timetable of lessons that you would remain on site. But there's no reason why you can't go off site at lunchtime, pop home in between lessons. You have that flexibility. That's part of sixth form college life.
As I can't attend an open evening, is there any other way that I can view the college?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the easiest way at the moment is if you go onto our website, you can just click an icon, book a tour, and someone will be in contact to arrange a suitable day time that you can come in, meet a member of staff, and have a tour of the facilities and what's on offer. You can also book that through our info@stvincent.ac.uk through email, or you can ring our main reception and just say, can I speak to one of our school liaison team, and they'll arrange for you to come in. I should also mention that the website, because of the the current situation, has got a wealth of information. We've got virtual tours and sort of an opportunity to meet staff and find out about things. So there's lots of platforms now as well, as apart from physically coming in.
What time does college start and finish, and does it vary?
There are several different answers to this question. If you're studying within the School of Sixth Form, then the standard time starts at 9:30 in the morning, and the lessons then run right the way through until, or the timetable, sorry, runs through until 3:30 in the afternoon. The likelihood of you having a full day of study is quite slim, depending on your course combinations and what you've chosen. So the likelihood is that you may be in from 9:30 in the morning right the way through until lunchtime, or you may have an afternoon session. If you're studying on a level 1 provision, at the moment the timetable is trapped in 3 days, so it's compressed into a 3-day timetable and runs from 9:30 until 3:30. However, we do then have some more bespoke timetables for learners within the School of Personalised Learning, and due to transport for those learners, the timetable doesn't actually start until 10 o'clock.
Do I have to call my teachers Mr. and Mrs.?
Just to add something to Dan's response to the previous question, this timetable that we have for level 2 and 3 students has proved to be incredibly popular with students, because what that means is that you're not hanging around college when you don't have lessons. So you're either here for a long morning with one subject area, or you're here for the full day, or you come in just for the afternoon. So you're not in and out of lessons with lots of kind of gaps in your timetable. And this means that it combines particularly well with part-time work. So there'll be days in the week where you don't have afternoon lessons or potentially don't have a morning lesson. And that means that you can study from home, or you can do that work, or you can support your kind of family members and siblings. And that, like I say, that's worked out really well for students. In terms of what you call your teachers, again, you're moving into a more kind of adult community here at college. And so we would not expect you to call any of your teachers Mr. or Mrs. or Sir or Miss, although it takes a little while, I think, for students to get used to that. But we're all called by our first name, so you would call me Jan.
I need extra support in class. Am I able to have an LSA?
This is not a straightforward answer, because it varies for every student. If you had additional needs, if, for example, you had an LSA at school, it's likely that you would be allocated LSA at college. But as I say, that is on an individual student by student basis. We would need to look at your needs, look at your EHCP, look at the support you had at school. We would do our own assessments when you joined. And we would, as I say, deal with it on an individual basis. However, it's really important to say that students are all offered support in various ways. So teachers are really supportive. If you needed additional support from your teacher, they would be more than happy to give it to you. We have support comes in various guises. We also have ELSAs, so emotional literacy support assistants, who are there to help you outside of the classroom should you require it. So support is always there for everybody. In the form of an LSA in class would be on an individual basis when you apply to the college.
What foundation degrees do you have on offer?
We run 2 foundation degrees through the University of Portsmouth. So we run a foundation degree in learning support, and we also run one in care and early years and education. So both foundation degrees are offered through the University of Portsmouth. They are completed here. Your studies are here at St Vincent on a part-time basis, and they're both very successful courses with very good progression onto top-ups. We also run the PGCE and the Cert Ed for anyone who's interested in going into a teaching career. We have a lot of our students actually progress from our Access courses or our foundation degrees into teaching. We also offer that here as well for you. I'll just add on to the question that Sarah just had about support. The support does extend through to adult education as well. So if you are an adult studying maybe a functional skill or GCSE or maybe your Access course, then there is extra support that you can discuss with your teachers that may be available for you as well.
Can I study at any level?
Yeah, we're very well resourced for students to study at a whole range of levels. So we have students here who study at pre-entry level, right through entry levels, level 1, 2, 3, and level 3, of course, is equivalent to advanced levels, which would enable you to go on to university. But as Carlene's just said, we have courses moving up levels 4, 5, and 6 as well at higher education. So we really do offer a massive range of courses not just in subjects, but in terms of levels and qualifications.
Is there a closing date for college applications?
No, I think I'll say the answer to that. But what I will say is we're already actually starting to take interviews, and some of our courses can fill up very, very quickly. So my advice is, as I've mentioned earlier, do your research, but as soon as you feel you're ready, do put in that application. In fact, you can actually put in an application if you're still a little bit unsure, because the staff here will be able to help you sort of come to a decision. But yes, we don't actually have a formal closing date, but my advice is try and get your application in as soon as you feel confident to do.
Will I have the opportunity to talk to teachers about their courses?
So there's a few different opportunities. I mean, currently you can look on the website, and I think the Click and Meet facility is just about still open, where you can meet your teachers. Obviously, that's one-way communication. What we're planning to do in the springtime is to run an actual open evening event, and that would enable you to come on site to talk to your teachers, because I know that the most important thing is for you to be able to come in here and get a sense of what it would be like to be a student here, what it would be like to be taught by the individuals on our faculty here. So that's absolutely our intent. And it really is dependent on COVID, how soon we can offer that face-to-face event. But we will certainly offer that during 2021. And it's just a shame that we can't offer it sooner. If you do specifically want to speak to individual teachers, then please do send an email to the college. I think you can just use the info@stvincent.ac.uk and request to speak to individual teachers, and we will arrange that for you. Sometimes we've got students coming in already for personal tours, and we could arrange a tour with you with a particular subject teacher if you request that. And likewise, there will be opportunities again later in the year when the COVID restrictions are relaxed for you to come in and perhaps do a taste day. Come in and try out some sessions, meet current teachers and students. But under our current regulations, we are actually restricted in terms of kind of non-essential visitors. So as much as it's essential for you to experience that, and as soon as that's possible, we will make that happen for you. So yeah, do contact us and we'll try and arrange something individually.
Does the quicker I apply give me a greater chance of getting onto the course?
Well, as I just mentioned in an answer to a previous question, yes, some of our courses do fill up, so the quicker you apply, it's obviously going to enhance your chances. But what I will say is we look at all our sort of numbers and what we can accommodate right through the whole sort of year, really. So if we can take a student, that's what we will do. So like I say, put your application in and we will look at it. And normally we always be able to offer places.
So we've got time for two more questions before we have to finish today. Who do I contact to speak about the School of Personalised Learning?
If we have our head of specialist curriculum, Mel Williams, is a great person to talk to about the School of Personalised Learning, or alternatively our SPL administrator, Fran Swatteridge, or myself. If you use the college email, info@stvincent.co.uk, they will forward your emails to Mel Williams or Fran Swatteridge, and they'll be able to answer any questions that you have, or organise for you to come in and have a look around.
And who do I talk to about mental health, emotional or social problems?
I would advise come up to our student support area, which is quite central in the college, and that's for across college. We have a strong support team, which is welfare, we have ELSAs, along with the personal tutors. So if you come up there and talk to one of them, I'd also suggest that you talk to your teachers, because a teacher will talk to you, and if they feel that you need further support, they will bring you along to either myself or to the welfare or to one of the ELSAs. So again, just communicate, come up and we'll be up there and we'll help you out. So don't worry.
Okay, so that brings our session to a close. A full recording of this session will be available on our college website. A big thank you to everyone who wrote in with their questions, and a big thank you also to our panel as well for joining us. If you'd like to ask any further questions that weren't answered today, please email us on info@stvincent.ac.uk.